Hey there, thanks for stopping by. Today's video, I want to go over how to use the Forge in its current state of the alpha. And then I've got a couple announcements. One's kind of small and one's kind of bigger, so stick around and hope you enjoy. All right, so let's just jump right into the Forge and go over the basics of how to forge your incarnates and the basic UI of the Forge. So on the right-hand side here, you have all of your parts that are in the game. Now the filter, you can go ahead and search on the higher HP, crit, so you can do a lot of filtering. Right now, the UI is not finished by any means. The filtering is going to be updated and probably improved as we go along, but it gives you a good start of filtering your pieces based on these stats. So you can go rarity, so you see all the legendary pieces, you can see the 6-star ascension. So it's a good way to find all your parts. So if you go to new, if you had anything that was new, it would show up. It's got little red dots on there for anything new. So that's nice to see. Right here on this side of the screen where all your parts are shows you the race types. So the first one is the Archon. So if you click that button, you get to see all of the Archon parts for the slot that you're actually highlighting. So right now I'm highlighting this mind slot. So it's showing me all of the Archon mind parts that I have available to forge into the next incarnate. Same thing for Judge, Nizari, Titan, and the Void Watcher. If you double click or just click off so there's no highlight there on the specific race, it goes back to showing you every single part you have and does not filter on the race that you're looking for. So same thing, if you do the body, it'll show you all the body parts. You click on one of the races and it will highlight that race and show you those parts specific to that race. So that's pretty straightforward. When you're forging an incarnate and you start switching around the parts to be a little bit different, you're going to start seeing some changes up in this top left hand corner. Notably, you're going to see changes to these yellow stats. That's showing you the part that you're highlighting. That's showing you what that part is contributing to the overall base stats of that incarnate. The other thing you're going to start seeing is if I select all legendary parts, the border for the portrait of that incarnate is going to change to legendary. If you switch back to, let's say, more of an epic build with epic parts, you're going to switch back to epic, and for rare and for the common, same exact thing. The other thing you're going to start seeing changing here is these buttons on the top left-hand corner. So each part down here is actually shown up here in the portrait, and it's showing the race that you actually have applied. So for the first two, you've got two judge parts, and you've got the orange or kind of gold color and those dots representing the judge. And then on the soul part, you have the Nizari piece, which is represented by purple. So if you had a judge, if you had a Titan, we can go put that in there. For the soul, you see that it changes to that red dot. So those dots up there when you're forging show you the race type. The other thing you're going to see is the affinity type of the incarnate that you're about to forge. In this case, it's a balance affinity, and we get that by having one affinity type of each, or each of the affinity types on each of the parts. So this mind part has the life affinity, the body has the void affinity, and the soul has the death affinity. So if you have one of each affinity, you get the balance affinity. If we can go ahead and find a life on the soul, so there's a void. There's the void affinity. We'll attach that, and now you have two void affinities. Now you can see that the change to the incarnate has been made to void, because if you have two or more parts that are of the same affinity type, that incarnate becomes that affinity type. So that's pretty basics of the forge. You also have this cost down here. So in order to forge in this game, you need dust, and that's represented by this triangle piece here. You also need thread, which is represented, it's kind of hard to tell. Let's see if we can, no, we can't really, there we go, that's a better view. Okay, so the thread is kind of like a needle going through the thread, and that allows you to forge these incarnates. So you will need some resources to forge this incarnate. and I will go ahead and create a video later about what resources there are in the game and how to get them. And future, once we get everything settled down and the resource kind of economies stabilized or finished, I'll also break down what you need in order to forge certain level incarnates. So right now we're going to forge the 4-star incarnate. That's based on the star or ascension levels of the parts. So if I were to go ahead and build like a 6-star or as close to a 6-star as I can, because I don't think I have. Let me click off here and see what I've got. We'll go ascension. There we go. So there's a 6-star and another 6-star. So I've got all 6-star parts on here. If I were to forge that, I would create a 6-star incarnate, and you can see the dust or the thread cost went up significantly because I'm creating a more powerful incarnate. And the dust cost is also pretty high because I'm creating, you know, an epic 6-star. And if I were to go find another epic piece here, I would see that my dust increases almost twofold, and my thread, I know now I don't have enough thread to go ahead and forge this incarnate. So yeah, the more powerful incarnate that you create, the more resources it's going to take. So I've been playing this for, you know, probably a few months now, and I've just been super just impressed by the gameplay, especially being in an alpha like this. The gameplay is amazing. The thought process that's going into how to forge these incarnates and just in general play the game and the tactical sense of it, I've been so impressed that I've actually reached out to Skeleton Hand, and actually what I've done is I've invested in Skeleton Hand, the company, just because I believe in this game so much. So that was, you know, the first minor announcement, is that just wanted to be transparent with you guys that while I wasn't going into this thinking I was going to go ahead and invest in this company through the whole content creation piece, but since I've been making these videos and just testing out the game and playing it, I've fallen in love with the game, and there was an opportunity that was presented and I just took it. So yep, so you guys know I am invested in the company. That shouldn't change anything with respect to the content creation piece. I don't get any extra perks or anything like that by being invested. I don't really get any extra, you know, access to the developers or anything like that. That actually comes with, you know, just being a mod inside the Discord and stuff. So nothing really changes there, just besides, you know, I hope the game, you know, does really well. And I know it will, because to me, it's awesome, and I can't wait for other like-minded people to hop in the game and try it out and see how amazing this is. So the Forge UI is still unfinished. You know, they're working on a lot of coloring and shading and all that stuff, and making it feel less like a developer UI. I know that they're making improvements to how it acts, how, you know, maybe some of the animations when you actually forge this. There's still a lot of work in progress going on before it gets to the hard release, but we should be seeing, you know, some improvements as we get towards the beta. And speaking of the beta, the second announcement is I do have beta keys to give away. So what I'm going to do is ask you to subscribe to the channel. If you subscribe to the channel, you will have an opportunity to win one of my 7 beta keys. The beta keys come with a little bit of extra perks. You know, I'm not sure that they've been finalized yet. I know they're still working out the details, but because you will have a beta key from me, you might get something like an extra cosmetic. There might be some unique incarnates that you'll be given, but there will be extra perks that come along with that beta key, more so than just being able to test the game now. And if you are interested in testing the game now, hop over to the Discord. The alpha version right now is available to anybody that jumps in to the Discord, hops in general chat, sends the moderators a message saying, "Hey, I just want to test the game." So we'll set you up with, you know, the right permissions. You can go ahead and download the game as it is now. Again, we're doing more testing. It's still in the alpha state, but you're free to play that. It doesn't mean that you actually have a key, but you will be able to test the game from here on out, you know, to your heart's desire. And we would appreciate that, just because, you know, we've gotten more people involved in the testing, and we've started finding some good bugs, and fixes are on the way. But back to the beta keys, you know, if you're watching this and you've already got a key, Feel free to share this video with others in other clans or other games that you associate with. Feel free to let your friends know, because if they're interested and don't have a key already, or weren't planning on getting a key, all they have to do is just subscribe to this channel, and probably in about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, I'll go ahead and do a drawing of the subscribers. And again, 7 people will have beta keys that will come with extra perks, and on the first release or release day of the game. So excited for that. I'm just thankful for the Skeleton Hand crew reaching out to the content creators that are already making content, and giving them the keys that they can pass along to their community. So hit that subscribe button if you want a beta key, and in a couple weeks we'll go ahead and do the drawing. But back to the Forge, because that was the second announcement. That was the more major one. Again, the UI is coming along. We'll get better UI improvements throughout the beta. The other piece of it here in the Forge that you can actually do is you can click on this level 1, and you'll actually see what the Incarnate will end up as a level 60 with those parts. So you can see that the max HP and attack, those are increasing. The crit stays the same, the EP stays the same, range stays the same, but you can see there's a significant increase in the speed. It looks like, what is that, 13 speed increase. So I've been playing the game, and that 13 speed increase is it's a pretty big jump. So it's pretty cool just to see what the jump's going to be when you actually level this Incarnate up to 60. The other piece here that's somewhat important, especially when you're going to go make gems or use gems in the hall. This border here is representative of the affinity type. So if you're a death, you've got death affinity. If I can find a life, here we go. You've got the kind of gold border there for the balance affinity. So that's just representing the affinity type of that Incarnate. It's kind of important because you get bonuses when you attach gems that are of the same affinity type as the Incarnate. So it's kind of important if you've got Eternals that you already have set up for a certain affinity Incarnate. Maybe you want to forge an Incarnate that is the same affinity type, because they're going to be more powerful with the Eternals that you already have. So it's just something, again, to keep in mind when you're looking at the affinity types. But yeah, the only other thing you have to do is, if you have enough resources, what I can do is I'll go ahead and just forge up something that is low cost and just common. So we will just do this build, and you can see I have enough dust, I have enough thread. All you have to do is just click that forge button, it saves, and it brings you to the hall and shows you that Incarnate. And then from the hall, you can actually go ahead and equip Eternals and gems, and we'll get into another video of a hall overview. If we go back to the main menu and Forge, that'll load up. Again, there's nothing much else. It's pretty simple in order to forge an Incarnate. Just be aware of the resource cost. And again, I'll put out another video on how to get those resources. I do have another video on all the parts, just explaining parts in detail overview. I'll link it up above. It's a good way of probably going into a little bit more details of all the parts and how they interact and stuff like that. So check that one out if you're interested in that. You can also, in the Forge, you can click all your parts here. You can see the skills popping up. You can go ahead and click around, and you can see what those skills are. You got your turn cooldown. You've got your ascension of that part, the affinity of that part, and obviously the text. So pretty simple, pretty easy to go ahead and forge your Incarnate. It's just going to come down to that resource cost that you're going to have to be mindful of as you start forging. So that was a pretty quick overview of the Forge. You should now be able to forge any Incarnate that you want and understand the differences between them, why the stats are changing, and why they get the affinity type, and how to just look through your parts. So hopefully that was helpful. All right, so that was just a quick overview of the Forge and how to use it. You should have learned, how parts get combined so that you create a certain affinity type. You should also learn, how to go ahead and search for your parts. Again, that UI is being updated. It's going to feel a lot more polished in the coming months as we walk through the alpha, get into the beta. I'm talking to the developers, and they've got some great updates coming in the next week or so. And then just again, a reminder, if you want an opportunity to win some beta keys that come with some extra perks, like possibly, a cosmetic skin for either a certain type of Incarnate, or maybe, a certain weapon skin, hit that subscribe button. I'm going to be pulling probably in 2-3 weeks time, 7 names. I've got 7 beta keys. So I'll pull 7 names. It might be a marble race or just a random number generator. Don't know how that's going to happen yet. First time doing it. But 7 people out of my subscribers will get access to beta keys that have additional perks to then just being able to test. And again, if you like this video, hit that like button. If you like the content in general, hit that subscribe button. Head over to the Discord, ask us questions, get set up so you can actually start testing. Again, if you are in that Discord and you are in the general chat, just send a mod a message, just do @moderator and we'll get it. Asking for access to the alpha test files right now. And you can go ahead and test all you want. You'll have access to test now and in the future. And hopefully you'll be able to make the game better for you and for everybody else that's playing it. With that, I appreciate you guys watching and all the support I've gotten so far. We will see you in the next one.